So when I come up with the segment, how do I know if it's any good? And what I want to look at is, again, is it homogeneous or heterogeneous? Is it substantial? I have to make money. I mean, I could find a great segment, but if it only has 10 people, what good is it? Is it going to be stable? Is it going to be responsive? Will it respond to what I'm doing? And once you get in there and access it, can you defend it? If you can't defend it, then everybody's just going to come in after you. And is it actionable? Meaning, is there something that I can do that'll actually take advantage of it? And so an example of homogeneous and not homogeneous is, supposing I'm talking about kimchi eaters. Well, kimchi is a pickled cabbage, very hot. Quite frankly, I think it's disgusting, but mostly Koreans will eat it because it's a Korean native dish and fewer Americans. So I have very well-defined segments there. On the other hand, if I pick a variable like athletes versus non-athletes, that doesn't have a lot to do with it, and so I'm just going to have a lot of overlap. There isn't a distinct group to go after there. Once I figure out the persona, the psychographics of my customer and all the details, I can build up an end user profile. And here's an example of somebody who works in an IBM data center who's a potential to buy like networking equipment. And so an end user profile is basically the characteristics of the customer. How are they going to buy my product? How much are they willing to pay? And so on and so forth. And it's a theory, and hopefully you're right about it. In terms of finding markets of these segments, they're typically either gaps, niches, or pain. And gaps are markets where there's nobody in there so far. And typically it's because they either got overlooked or legally they couldn't exist. And then the law changes and all of a sudden there's a new opportunity. Niches are very precise segments that people haven't gotten into. For example, Airbnb, the guys where you rent out your house or whatever. They're creating niches like renting out your house for athletic events on the weekend or something like that. And you know about pain, that's an unmet need. In terms of targeting, there are different layers to a target. The market is your overall industry that you're going after, like cars or something like that. Your total addressable market is the large overall market that applies to your product. Your served available market is essentially, you're not going to get the whole market, but based on what you do, what market do you think you're ever going to serve? And your target market is the one you can actually be effective with. And so these are the variables I think about in terms of competition, my opportunities for profit, and is it a good fit for my company? These are the things I'm concerned about with each. And so in terms of targeting, does it the overall market is the general market that my product relates to. My TAM, or total addressable market, is these are the people, this is my total potential of people I'm likely to reach. My SAM is this is who my marketing efforts are going to reach. And my target market is who's actually going to respond to me. Example is electric motorcycles. Motorcycles, people who aren't mechanical, people who are progressive, and millennials. That's an example of my TAM, SAM, and total market. There are two ways of coming up with populations for your TAM, and that's you could do it bottoms up or top down. Bottoms up means I just count the number of potential noses, and so I need to come up with numbers. This is a good example of TAM, and that's actually SAM and target market, and that's that I want to sell Korean videos in the United States, streaming services. And so my overall market are Koreans in the USA. Those are the people who are most likely going to stream Korean TV. Then my TAM is Koreans who are going to watch videos. And then my SAM is, I find out the people who actually do watch it are TV watchers who are female. Those are the majority. And then I find out that TV watchers within the age of 20 to 35 are a pretty big segment. And so that becomes my target market. As you could see, very well defined and small enough that I could actually go after it. So in terms of formulating good strategies, the segments that you choose have to play to the opportunity as well as what it is that you can do. Use your descriptor variables to develop your marketing plan, and also come up with needs variables to segment the market. And so what it comes down to is that segmentation defines the groups of customers that we're interested in. It impacts every part of the marketing plan because that group you're going after, that's going to tell you what it is. And so after gathering that data, you manipulate the data to find out whether or not you have a strong segment, and then you profile it, and then you could target it to figure out how you can get the best opportunity.